able to see the PPT first slide and my uh, video in the corner, and you are able to listen clearly on your side. So I request you before beginning, please raise your hand for 1 second so that I will understand. I can begin. So thank you, Om, Gargi, Anish, Tanuja, Kiran, Abhishek, Nayan, Sejal, Sonal, Radhika, Shruti, Gauri, Chinmay, Homeshwari, Ayush, Dhanashri, Prasad, Sudhanshu, Aishwarya. So Ayush Rathod, and they are not able to listen. Anyway, many people are able to see and they are able to hear clearly. So I begin. So there might be some problem. For example, I think that I found status of, for example, Shivam. So there are some people who are on hold. I don't know what happens. They are on hold, but you can directly join or just try to rejoin. Because if you go on hold, you will not be able to see the videos as well as miss a video feed or maybe slide. Something might be missing on your side. So check. Shivampuri is still on hold, or maybe he has to press some button, or by mistake he has pressed some button. Anyway, so I will begin. So friends, as I told you that this unit we are trying to understand how to directly translate programming sentence into target code. So this is a theoretical, this is technology, this is technique. And in that technique, there are different ways to do the translation. So there are basically 3 types of ways. We shall see that later. But through 1 or 2 examples, we shall understand what is the meaning of the attributes, why it is important. So most of the part in theory, I have already explained in last 2 sessions. See, please note that it may happen that I may be showing some slides, but don't think I am doing it deliberately, because there are people who join late, or maybe they might be absent in previous sessions. So for that, I have to show some slides. So anyway, our agenda is to understand what is the translation, how to do the translation on the fly. It's just like a real-time translation. And what is the attribute? What are different types of attributes? So in last session, I told you that there can be, see, there are different ways to call the attributes. Means you means synthesize attribute. You can call it as a I attribute, means inherited attributes. So we shall see. And what is the meaning of attributed? Means attributed definition. For example, S attributed definition means what? L attributed definition means what? That we are going to see through examples visually. So anyway, this is the view. So what we do, we just read the programming language construct, input string, then we construct the parse tree. We know how to construct the parse tree. Now, for constructing a parse tree, there are 2 ways. We can do either top down or we can do bottom up. We call it as a bottom up parsing or top down parsing. So it depends. And even the method by which you are constructing a syntax tree is very important, because if you choose the top down parsing, then there might be some limitations. If you do the bottom up parsing, definitely there will be some advantages, but there can be some more complexities. For example, if you learn the advantages and disadvantages of CLR parser, LLR parser, and SLR parser, then you will understand what are the typical difficulties in typical bottom-up parsing method. So anyway, once we have a parsing tree, then we construct the dependency graph, and we traverse that graph. As you know, that there are different algorithms like breadth first traversing, depth first traversing, pre-order traversing, in-order traversing, post-order traversing. So every method has some limitations as well as some plus points, advantages. Then we have to decide the evaluation order, because how to evaluate, because what we are doing, evaluation means what? We are trying to build the meaningful or meaning of given statements or set of statements, or it may be meaning of some expression, means output of that expression, mathematical expression, say it may be plus, minus, or whatever. So evaluation order is there. So depending on your method of whether you are doing top down or bottom up, depending on the attributes, whether you are using synthesis attribute or inherited attributes, or sometimes we use both. We use both attributes when we build AST, that is a annotated parse tree. So the existence of attributes also depends, means on that evaluation order depends. So again, this slide, what is telling? It is telling you that attributes are associated with the non-terminals. See, attributes are associated with both terminals as well as non-terminals. That is not a problem. And semantic rules are associated with production rules, individual production rules. So it is a skill how to design a semantic rule for a given set of production rules or given grammar. So anyway, we shall see the example. See, I am just showing it. This is an example of the rightmost derivation. We suppose that the sequence of derivation, sequence of application of the derivation rules, sorry, production rules during the derivation is nothing but the abstract realization of the parse tree. We don't build the actual parse tree. Please note this thing. So this is there. Then here in the middle box, there is a bottom up parsing. Here we are using leftmost derivation. See, here we are substituting from left side. We are starting from left and we are going ahead to the right side. So in this way, we have something called as a parse tree or syntax tree. So the given statement is ID plus ID star ID. So you can visualize parse tree or syntax tree, whatever in your suitable representation. But see, the first tree is representing the way how the non-terminals are applied. For example, if you start from the bottom, you read it. You have applied first F, then T, then E, then F, then T, F, then T, and lastly, you generated the start symbol, E. So this is important. This part is very important. We shall see how the values are computed. So let us take this example. So here we are trying to understand what is the meaning of the SDT. See, I am going to give you the definition of SDT, that is syntax directed translation, and I am also giving you the definition of SDD. D means definition. See, there is not a difference. They are representing the same thing, but conceptually it is different. T means translation, the way of translation. In translation, there are three ways: rule-based method, obli-based method, like that we shall see later. And HDD means definition. This is how you are extracting the meaning from the given statement. That is a D is the definition. So here there is a grammar and there are some non-terminals are there. Some terminals are there. And there is a given statement 3 into 5 plus 4 and N is there. N means return or enter symbol on your keyboard. Next line. So we are going to understand. See, this is some grammar representing some calculator. Calculator may have different functions like log, division, and all that. Here only we are considering only two operations like plus and multiplication. And you are using brackets also. So digit is there. So digit is a terminal, opening bracket is a terminal, closing bracket is a terminal, star and plus is also terminal. And slash n, that is a enter symbol, is also terminal. So in this way, the grammar is realized. It is given in that blue box. So here we are trying to understand how to directly translate the given statement. This is a statement, string of tokens, or you can call it as a programming language construct in higher terms. So first is that we have to just give the numbers to the production rules. I have given here in blue blocks like 1 to 7. These are the rule numbers, production rule numbers. Why? It is important. Somewhere these are used. Just like in SR parser, in reduce action, we require exact production rule number to do the reduce action. So these are the rules, number of rules. Now this is the sample. I hope you are able to see it on your mobile phone or maybe on laptop. So for example, here we are using a leftmost derivation. We are starting with the L. L is a start symbol, just like a S, capital S. And these are the steps. There is something underlined. It means that we are substituting the right hand side of the production rule. So we obtain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 7. So in this way, we are successful in generating the given string of tokens. It means that the given statement is syntactically, grammatically correct. Now, one job is over. First is that we have to check whether given sentence is syntactically correct or not. Yes, it is correct. Now, second job is that we have to find the meaning of this statement. That is called as a semantic analysis. Now, let us see. So, to find the meaning of this statement, there are two ways. We can do the top-down approach or we can do bottom-up approach. So, in next lecture session, we shall see how to evaluate using top-down, and also we shall see how to use it or how to evaluate it by using bottom-up approach. So first task is that we must construct the AST, annotated syntax tree. So first we have to generate a basic parse tree. Then we have to decorate it with the attributes. And we have to put proper values into the attributes. Attributes means what? It is a field in a database table. So we have to put attribute values, and then we have to traverse the tree, maybe from bottom up or top down. And then we have to generate the actual meaning of the statement. So that is called as the semantics. So this is let us say this is an example of the tree. You can take the screenshot or of this tree in your phone or desktop. So you will find that means 3 digits are there. These are the leaf nodes of the tree, and return is also there. That is a enter next line is also there. So you can take the screenshot. Now we want to decorate. We want to decorate this syntax tree. This is a syntax tree. This is a plain parse tree. We want to attach attributes. See, right now we are not talking about the different types of attributes. So let us say L.val. So what is this? This is an attribute. T1.val, it is an attribute. E.val, it is an attribute. Digit.lexval, last line in the column in blue color, is an attribute. See, there is something question mark is there in the table. It is not that much important. We shall see later what is that programming construct. See, every computer or calculator has something called as an internal representation. It is not an intermediate code, it is an internal representation in terms of, so that is understandable to that machine, typical machine. So it is not given here. So means it represents how you are storing this information into the system or computer or hardware. So L dot val is an attribute, E dot val is an attribute. So what is this? So this everything given in blue color is called as a semantic rule. So there is a corresponding production rule. It has a semantic rule. So if you substitute or insert values into those variables or attributes, you get the meaning. So in this way, every production rule in a given grammar for a particular language, you have to design a set of equivalent semantic rules. Now here in this example, there is only one semantic rule. There is only one semantic rule for each production rule. But there might be some production rules, there can be multiple semantic rules representing. So please note this thing. There can be one production rule, one semantic rule. There can be one production rule and multiple semantic rules representing different types of attributes, That is on the theoretical part. It's not that much complex. So grammar symbols, for example, non-terminals are associated with the attribute values. So you see the attribute values, dot something val. For example, token digit has an attribute value lex val. Lex val is an attribute value. Lex val is an attribute value. Now, this is something, don't try to interpret it, something called as a programming construct. So it is just imagine that there is a memory, there is a set of locations, and every value is represented as some array element and some location. So top is representing some index of that value. So you can imagine it. What is that? So top or n top. So top minus 2 means what? You have to minus 2 element. It depends on the size of the atom. So first atom, one location. Second atom, one location. There might be some atoms where it requires 2 locations to store it. That could be there. So anyway, see the first row, L is giving you E return. So its semantic representation is that print value of E. So it should be E dot val. And its representation is something like print in bracket val in square bracket top minus I, like that. So don't worry about the representation. It is not that much important. It is not our part. So anyway, hope you have taken the screenshot. Anyway, let us go ahead. So last time we have seen the syntax tree. Now we have the AST, that is annotated syntax tree, or you can call it as a annotated parse tree. So you don't get confused, because every concept has 2 or 3 names in your book. So I have to use all the names. So here on one side, we have the production rules, their corresponding semantic rules. Then there is a statement which we want to evaluate, that is given there in blue color. Then there is a tree on the right side. It is called as a AST, annotated syntax tree, and tree has some values. So, and every attribute has some value. For example, digit dot lex dot val has value 3. F dot val is attribute. It has a value 3. Then T dot val is an attribute whose value is 3. If you go up, then again there is a T dot val, its value is 15. because 3 into 5 is equal to 15, like this. So in this way, you are going from bottom to up. 1 minute. हॅलो. हां हां सर, माझं लेक्चर चालू होतं, मी येतो ना. हां 3 इयरचं आहे. हां 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 हां. So it is not necessary that you should go bottom to up or top to bottom. It depends on your parsing method. Right now we are not discussing about how to or which method we have to use. But from this diagram, you can easily understand how the meanings are derived. So meaning is passing from either from children or siblings. So I think you know the concept of the sibling. Then again, there are some rules that you have to consider only right childs, or you have to consider both right and left childs while deriving the meaning every time. So it depends on type of attribute. So if it is synthesized attribute, then there are different rules. If it is a inherited attribute, then there is a different rule. And there can be multiple attributes in a node of a tree. So you may have to use multiple rules to derive meaning. So anyway, so the value or evaluation is that it should be 19. 3 into 5 is 15 plus 4 is equal to 19, like that. So this is what is called as a semantics or semantic analysis. So this is theory, just read it. So SDT, so let us first get crystal clear understanding of concept of SDT. SDT is a translation, and there are 3 ways to do the translation. And SDT is a definition, syntax directed definition. 1 minute. हॅलो. हो, माझा पिरियड चालू आहे, मी येतच आहे म्हणा सर. Sorry. So anyway, SDT has 3 different translation schemes, and it is used to generate the intermediate code. This is one theoretical answer for what is SDT. Second is that it is a technique to build the semantic information of large structures. Large structures means it might be some part of your code. It may contain 3 or 4 programming language statements. How? So in compiler, in SDT, so 3 things can be done. One is that we construct the AST, then we do the type checking. Type checking, I will talk about it. Means there might be that case some variable might be Boolean, some variable might be integer, but last variable might be some real. So you should check the type of variable or type check. That is called as a type checking. So annotated first syntax tree you have to generate. You have to check the type. Right now in this example, everything is an integer. So that was not a problem. We shall take few examples where there are different types of data types, means integer as well as real. And we shall try to understand how to resolve that conflict. And lastly is the intermediate code generation is a task of SDT. So 3 things are there. These are done by using SDT. So see, there are some authors who will tell you that DFS, depth first order, that is a traversing method, graph traversing technique. is used to traverse that AST. But sometimes pre-order and post-order traversing is sufficient for general constructs. Uh, if you do pre-order traversing or post-order traversing, depending on whether top-down or bottom-up parsing method you are using, that is sufficient. But sometimes you may have to use another technique. Or just as a homework, just I suggest you to learn about the topological sorting. Or I think most of you might be aware what is topological sort. So there is a technique that is called as a topological sort or ordering or traversing, topological traversing. So that is more enhanced technique as compared to pre-order and post-order. So this slide will be, it may be repeating certain things, but let us go through it. Here we are trying to understand what is exactly SDT. So compiler requires translation. It translates the language with the help of attributes. Means every grammar or production rule has non-terminals as well as terminals. Every terminal as well as non-terminal is associated with some attribute. That attribute can be synthesized attribute or it can be inherited attributes. So, but most of the times for terminals, only synthesized attributes are there. But sometimes for non-terminals, there can be multiple attributes, like it can have synthesis attribute as well as it can have some another inherited attribute. So what is SDT? SDT means attaching attributes to the grammar symbols. That is at SDT. So what is SDT? SDT means attaching attributes to the grammar symbols. Values for attributes are computed by semantic actions associated with the grammar productions. We have seen that table that there is a corresponding production rule and corresponding semantic rule. So values are computed by semantic actions. The way how we compute the values of those attributes is nothing but they are called as a semantic actions. So you can take the screenshot of this slide or you can write down on your side. Then SDT associate a set of semantic rules with each production rule. SDT is specified to compute the attribute values from the grammar symbols. SDT syntax direct definitions are generalizations of context-free grammars. Each grammar symbol have an associated set of attributes. That's why it is written. A grammar symbol can have set of attributes. Means it can be single or it can be multiple. Productions are associated with the semantic rules for computing the values of attributes. So this is how, this is the extra simplification. There is no need of that. So anyway, from these two slides, you will be able to understand what is the meaning of SDT and SDT. So actually we are targeting to same thing, but in exam they ask you separately, explain what is the SDT. So do not mix with other, like you should have separate definition of SDT, you should have separate definition of SDT. So these two slides are sufficient for that. Now this is more simplification. In HDD, the formalization or formalism generates the AST or annotated parse tree, where each node of the tree is a record with a field for each attribute. For example, here there is an example given. X is representing some non-terminal, dot A is some attribute. A can be attribute. So X dot A indicates the attribute of a grammar symbol X. So X is a non-terminal. So in previous example, E dot val is an attribute. Now here we have to think whether this attribute is a synthesized or inherited. So 6 point is there. The value of the attribute of a grammar symbol at a given parse tree node is defined by semantic rules. See, note here how we compute the value of a node. That defines the type of attribute, whether it is a synthesized attribute or inherited attribute. The value of an attribute of a grammar symbol at a given parse tree node is defined by a semantic rule associated with the production used in that node. So anyway, later you read it carefully and we shall understand it through example directly. So there are two definitions. So this is a definition. I said that yes attributed definition, or I attributed definition, or L attributed definition. So synthesized attributes, they are computed from the values of the attributes of the children nodes. This is a way how we, so you compute the value of some node with the help of children. It's called synthesize. And how you compute the inherited attributes? So inherited attributes are computed from the values of attributes of both siblings as well as parent nodes. Means you are thinking about the parent also and siblings. मतलब चिल्ड्रन से भी निकालते हैं और उसके पेरेंट नोड से भी निकालते हैं. और सिंथेसिस एट्रीब्यूट सिंपली चिल्ड्रन से निकालते हैं. Now take the screenshot of this. I will be taking example on this. So what is the meaning of the side effect? You have to explain with suitable example. Then you have to explain what is the limitation of SDT. Then you have to explain what is topological sort with some example, suitable example. Then you have to write the applications of DAG, D-A-G, directed acyclic graph. And then you have to give the explanation. See, you can use only single paragraph, one paragraph or three, 4, 5 lines to explain all these 5 questions. So it is important to rebrush to understand the SDT in clear way. So that first is search is there, even breadth first search is also there. So hope you have taken the screenshot. Now let us refine what is exactly SDT. So in compilers, CFG is associated with the programming language. Mostly, please note that almost all programming languages are context-free grammars or CFLs. All programming languages are mostly, excluding the typical language like natural language. So almost all languages are CFL, context-free languages. So there are 3 things. One is called as attribute, semantic rule, second thing, and third is attribute type. So type can be integer, real, boolean, or it may be tree, it may be a record, it may be some kind of graph, it may be array. If it is array, then it may be n-dimensional, 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, or whatever. So 3 things are there with respect to SDT. Now what is attribute? So we have seen attributes are associated with grammar symbols, terminals as well as non-terminals. Semantic rules, again, every production rule is associated with some semantic rule. We have seen one example. And types, attribute types. So see, data types and attribute type is different. See here, at least in this unit, we are considering only 2 types. One is a synthesized attribute and one is a inherited attribute. So in last slide we have understood how the synthesis attributes are computed from the tree AST. So synthesis attributes are computed from children nodes, from the values of the children nodes, and inherited attributes are computed from values of siblings as well as value of parent node. So that is what is there. It is called as a SDD. So this is what is a SDD. How to derive the meaning? Like how to do the translation? There are three ways to do the translation. And how to derive the meaning? So this is how you evaluate the values of the attributes. That is called the SDD. Now this is one slide. It will tell you what to remember. Terminal symbols have synthesis attributes. So as I told you, that almost all terminals have synthesis attribute. It is very rare, almost not. Terminals don't have an inherited attribute that is there, but it is not written clearly anywhere. So terminal symbols have synthesis attributes whose values are provided by the lexical analyzer or analysis. And start symbol, it is a start symbol of a grammar. Normally start symbol has a inherited attribute. This is a thumb rule like thing, but in every time it may be correct or may not be correct. And that's why we call it as a SDD is a generalization of CFG, context-free grammar. So I hope you got something from this slide. So what is that? Start symbol have no inherited attribute. Terminal symbol has normally only synthesis attributes, not inherited attribute. Now, these are the three ways how we do the translation. This is called as a SDT. So that's what we talk about it. Means we have to read the inputs token, string of tokens, input or programming language construct. Then we have to build the syntax tree. And then we have to traverse that syntax tree in particular order, maybe pre-order or maybe post-order, depending on your method of building a tree. You can build a tree in top-down way or bottom-up way. So this is the slide where you can take the screenshot. You can visit this site. This is a tutorialspoint.com. And here there are examples, 3 address code examples or 2 address code examples, 2-3 examples are there. You download it or simply read it, go through it, visit this site. Because this is the objective of the SD syntax directed translation. Means what we are doing, we are constructing, we are reading source code and we are directly generating something called as a target code. So for our point of view, we are constructing either 3 address code or 2 address code. So here you will get the examples. Anyway, now let us say this is a term. What is the meaning of the S attributed definition? What is the meaning of the L attributed definition? See, what is that? See here there is a table. So all the attributes are synthesis attributes. If all the attributes in LHS as well as RHS, if they all are synthesized, then it means that this definition is a S attributed definition. And L attributed definition means what? All the attributes on the LHS, means left hand side as well as right hand side of a semantic rule, are typically inherited attributes. Then we call it as a L attributed definition. Means here, note that all attributes may be on the left hand side or maybe on the right hand side. Now here, luckily, every production rule has only one single corresponding semantic rule. So case is very simple. So that is called the L attributed definition, where all attributes are inherited attributes, and their values depends on inherited attributes of the parents and attributes of the siblings. Siblings, you just recall what is the meaning in a tree. So many times they ask you, what is a give or explain with example what is a attributed definition. So ultimately what we have to do, you have to explain what is a SDD, and then you have to explain these 2 lines given in this slide. So you can take the screenshot of this also. Now, this is a way, not every time we use this way. For example, in bracket AN, so A is a non-terminal and N is a node in a parse tree. Some typical node in a parse tree. We have seen the parse tree in previous slides. So this is a way to represent a attribute, like synthesis attribute. But it is not compulsory. There are different ways in different books. There are different ways, but we should use whatever is given in a standard textbook. So synthesis as attributes is defined in terms of the attributes of a children of N and of N itself. The semantic rule associated to the production rule relative to N. N is a node in that particular parse tree or syntax tree. Now last is their terminal symbols can have synthesis attributes. Basically, terminals have only synthesis attributes. But the attributes of terminals are computed by lexical analyzer. That is a theoretical point. So a terminal cannot have an inherited attribute. That is what you have to remember. Anyway, there is nothing. Let us take the same example. Here production rules are there, corresponding semantic rules are there, and attributes are there. And this is the example of the synthesis attribute. Now, see here, t1.val and t.val. There are 2 t's are there in that line. Even in the rule number 2, there are 2 e's. So we have to distinguish. So you can use comma or you can use dash to distinguish. Or you can use 1, 2, 3, 4. So here t1.val is a different attribute. T.val is a different attribute. They are representing different objects. That's why it is called as a unique synthesis attribute. So val is a name of the attribute. Val is a name of the attribute. So an S attributed can be implemented naturally in conjunction with the LR parser. LR parser is a bottom-up parser. So just read this, don't worry about it. An S attributed SDD syntax directed definition can be implemented naturally in conjunction with the LR parser or bottom-up method. That's it. So I hope you got what is the meaning of the synthesis attribute. So here in this example, .val is a attribute or it is a field. Now just read. Means we have to understand how to do the evaluation. How to do the evaluation. That is called as the evaluation order. Evaluation means nothing but how to derive the meaning from the statement. So to derive the meaning, you have to construct the parse tree. then you have to decorate it, and then you have to traverse that tree. So for example, if you are building this tree, suppose you have built this tree by using bottom up method, bottom up parsing, right? Then you have to use post order traversal. If you are building this tree by using the top down method, top down parser or LL parser, then you can use pre order traversal. Of course, you can use topological sorting, or you can use BFS, DFS, all that. But let us say, for this typical example, we have built this tree by using bottom up method. You know how to build the bottom up tree. So this is important. How to derive the meaning, that is the evaluation order. So if you are building a tree in bottom up way, you have to traverse that tree in a post order way. That's it. So try to traverse this tree. I think you have learned this in discrete mathematics or data structure, or maybe in some other subject. If you are are not sure how to do it, you just read that material of traversing in order, pre-order, and all that. An attribute is a synthesize if the attribute value of parent is determined from the attribute values of the children in a tree. Evaluation order, the semantic rules in a yes attributed definition can be evaluated by the bottom up or post order traversal of the parse tree. So you start reading it from bottom to up to the start symbol root. Now again, there is some complexity. For example, there can be some production rule. There is only one production rule, and there are multiple semantic rule. So this is a typical case. Don't worry about it. So a dot yes is here. Yes is an attribute. So let us call yes as a synthesis attribute, and b dot I is there. That is a, let us say it is a inherited attribute. I is representing inherited attribute. So we work. So there can be some tree like this. It is given on the left side. So we work with the parse tree even though a translator needs not actually build a parse tree. So a parse tree with the values, parse tree along with the values, that's why I call it as a decoration. It's called as a annotated parse tree. So last box is there for HDDs with both, means, for example, this is an example of HDD where production rule is, there is only one production rule, and there are two or more than one semantic rules corresponding to the particular production. And the semantic rules are used to derive the meaning. So last box tells you that if both, means there are two types of attributes like synthesized and inherited. So there is no guarantee that there exists one order. Means whether you should traverse that tree in a pre-order way or post-order way, there is no sure short way how to derive the meaning. So this is technical glitch. Don't worry about it. When there are both attributes corresponding to typical production rule. So here I and yes are synthesized as well as inherited attributes. These are attached to the production rule. A is giving you B. So that is there. So in that, you may have to do two types of traversals. For deriving the semantic, you may have to do the post-order traversal, and for deriving the inherited values, you may have to do pre-order traversal. That can be happen in such cases. So these rules are circular. It is impossible to evaluate the value of A dot S, that is a synthesis attribute at node N, or to derive the value of BI, that is a inherited attribute of that node, typical node B of children of N, without first evaluating the other. मतलब एक को निकालना है तो पहले दूसरे को मतलब उसको कैलकुलेट करके रखना पड़ेगा आपको उसमें फीडअप करने के लिए. So this can be a circulated example. So this is not a complex example. This is a simple example. Anyway, we shall take 2-3 examples. We shall understand it. But this is theoretical. This is the way how we talk in terms of theory, concept. So let's talk about the inherited attribute. I am just closing it. We shall see later details in next session. So what is inherited attribute? So again, we can represent attribute in terms of like this: A comma N. A is a non-terminal. N is a typical node in that tree. So inherited attribute is defined in terms of N's parent, N itself, and N's siblings. तो इनहेरिटेड एट्रीब्यूट कैसे कंप्यूट करेंगे? एक तो उसके ऊपर से करेंगे, उसके बाप के ऊपर से भी करेंगे और उसके बच्चों के ऊपर से भी करेंगे, लाइक दिस. सो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज इनहेरिटेड. जैसे किसी पिताजी का सरनेम XYZ है तो बच्चे का सरनेम भी XYZ आएगा, लाइक दिस. तो semantic rules associated to the production rule relative to the parent of N. So to calculate the values of the inherited attribute, you have to think about the node itself, means value of that node, value of that attribute of that node, as well as his father, means parent, as well as you have to consider the children or sibling. मतलब आपको तीन लोगों का रेफरेंस लेना पड़ेगा, अपर लेयर का, खुद का और maybe children ka. So this is how we calculate inherited attributes or values of inherited attributes. So this is the example. So you can take the screenshot. See here in red color, there is a programming language construct. Means you are defining, just like in C, integer X, Y, Z. So these are the variables, ID1, ID2, and ID3. In a blue box, the grammar is given. Here only 3 non-terminals are there, D, T, and L. Then INT, real, ID is a terminal symbol in that grammar. Then in a table, the production rules are given there and semantic rules are there given there. Production rule and corresponding semantic rules. Now here, there are attributes. For example, L dot in is a attribute. T dot type is a attribute. L1 dot in is a attribute. Again, L dot in is a attribute. See here, you have to understand what is the type of that attribute. So you have to understand whether T dot type is a synthesis attribute or whether it is a inherited attribute, like this. And if you derive this statement, real, ID1, ID2, ID3, I will tell you this, how to do it in a next example, next session. So I should close it today. There is no need to go fast. So what we have to do? We should understand what is the type of attributes. T dot type क्या है भाई? L1 dot in क्या है? Whether it is a synthesis attribute or inherited attribute. In next time, I will be talking about it in more clear way. And if you derive this statement, real ID1, ID2, ID3, by using production rules, if you here we are not given the numbers to the production rules, and then we shall see how to construct the parsing tree, and then we shall see how to decorate that parsing tree, and how this type values, this is called as a type checking. मतलब ID1 real है, ID2 real है, ID3 real है. That's why D, so say D is a declaration, L is a line. तो आप परकुलेट होगा उसके ऊपर में, तो D declaration is that it is real. So we shall see this example in more detail in next time. I'm going to close, but before going that, I will just go through theory. I will just read 2-3 boxes. You download it and read it. Now here, in case of inherited attributes, the value flows into a node in a parse tree from parents as well as siblings. That is the thing you have to remember. Synthesis attribute में क्या होता है? Children से ही हम value generate करते हैं या निकालते हैं. इसमें क्या होता है? पेरेंट भी कंसिडर करते हैं और नोड को खुद को भी कंसिडर करते हैं और उसमें उसके siblings या उसके children को भी कंसिडर करते हैं. The inherited attributes are useful for expressing the dependence of construct on the context in which it appears. See, this might be a typical mathematical statement, but you just read it. Last box is there. It is always possible to rewrite a syntax directed definition to use only synthesis attributes, but it is often more natural to use both synthesize as well as inherited attributes. Means you can write the semantic rules to the corresponding to the production rule. You can have multiple semantic rules corresponding to the single production rule. That is what is a crux of this slide. Then in case of emulation of inherited attributes, there are 3 or 4 things are there. So here we evaluate the inherited attributes by doing the pre-order traversal. So that is there. Synthesis attribute को हमने post order traversal करते हैं. So blue box is there, just I am reading for you. Unlike the synthesized attributes, the order in which the inherited attributes of the children are computed is important. Inherited attributes of children can be defined on both left and right siblings. So this is what that is a complex in this calculation of value of inherited attributes. Means you have to consider left children as well as right children or siblings of particular node when you are computing the value of inherited attribute. Now what is value or what is attribute? It is something t dot in or whatever. So it is a convention. So anyway, so I hope you remember what is your TC component. You know, you have taken the downloaded the screenshots. You have to submit around unit test 2 or class test 2. You can go for the demo, presentation or demonstration. Like as I told you, I will be giving the more weightage to the presentation as well as some programming assignment and its demonstration. Anyway, friends, you have listened me patiently. I am thankful to you. We shall see remaining. See, there is nothing in this unit. It is only theoretical. Don't worry about it. But when we discuss 2 or 3 times on the same topic, because it is very hard directly to learn how to translate given statement into target. So sometimes some people may find it little awkward, but don't worry about it. We will go through 2 or 3 examples, simple examples, and you will understand what is the meaning of these statements given in those slides. Because in slide, these are the standard keywords which are referred by books. we have to use them in our answers also. So thank you. I am closing here, and we shall see. I hope you are taking care of yourself as well as your family. Uh, I hope you are fine at your end. But still, if you have any doubt or difficulty, if you require any clarification, you can send your message on personal WhatsApp. I will answer it, or we may address in some session. Thank you. I am closing it now.